boss has nailed it. You know, the government is promoting bad behavior because we certainly don't want to put stimulus forth and give people a whopping $8 or $10 in their check and think that they ought to save it. And in terms of modifications, I'll tell you what, I have an idea. You know, the new administration's big on computers and technology. How about this, President and new administration? Why don't you put up a website to have people vote on the internet as a referendum to see if we really want to subsidize the losers' mortgages, or would we like to at least buy cars and buy houses in foreclosure and give them to people that might have a chance to actually prosper down the road and reward people that could carry the water instead of drink the water?
Hey, Rick,
that's a novel idea.
Hey, Rick, did you?
What? Who thought of that?
Yeah, they're like putty in your hands. Did you hear?
No, they're not, Joe. They're not like putty in our hands. This is America. How many of you people want to pay for your neighbor's mortgage that has an extra bathroom and can't pay their bills? Raise their hand.
How about we all...
President Obama, are you listening?
How about we all stop paying our mortgage? It's a moral hazard.
This is like mob rule here. I'm getting scared. I'm glad I'm.
Why don't you guys don't get scared,
some
Joe.
bricks and
They're
bats.
already scaring you. You know, Cuba used to have mansions and a relatively decent economy. They moved from the individual to the collective. Now they're driving 54 Chevys. Maybe the last great car to come out of Detroit.
They're driving them on water, too, which is a little strange to watch
there you go.
Hey, Rick, how about the notion that Wilbur pointed out you can go down to 2% on the mortgage.
You could go down to minus 2%.
And still have 40%. And still have 40% not be able to do it. So why are they in the house? Why are we trying to keep them in the house?
Mr. Summers is a great economist, but boy, I'd love the answer to that one.
Jason,
You get people fired up.
Jason, you want to?
We're thinking of having a Chicago Tea Party in July. All you capitalists that want to show up to Lake Michigan, I'm going to start organizing.
What are you dumping in? What are you dumping in this time? Houses,
We're going
cars?
to be dumping in some derivative securities. What do you think about
Mayor
that?
Daley is marshaling the police right now.
Rabble route.
National Guard.
The time for talk is over. Enough is enough. Your democracy has deteriorated to government of the government, by the government, and for the government. On April 15th, that despicable arrogance will be soundly challenged for the whole world to see. Our friends will applaud it. Our enemies will fear it. In an unprecedented moment of citizen response not seen in recent history since December 7th, 1941, millions of your fellow Americans, neighbors, friends, relatives, will bring their anger and their determination into the streets, from Bakersfield to Bangor, Maine, from Indianapolis to Dallas, in national tea parties, protesting much more than taxation without representation. They're rising above their differences. They're marching not as Republicans or Democrats, black or white, right-wing or left-wing. They're marching as Americans, finally united to send a new shot heard round the world. The silent majority is silent no more. We're mad as hell, and we're taking back our country, demanding our non-representing representatives in Congress restore common sense to the national debate, and sending a message to our children and our grandchildren that being an American is not an entitlement. You never earned it. You never deserved it. It was handed to you on a silver platter by men and women much better than you and I. Your cell phones and iPods and big screen TVs. Even your right to declare you're a victim and blame everyone and everything for what's happening to you except the face staring back at you in the mirror was bought by the blood and lives of 21 generations of our war dead. Well, now you have the opportunity to earn the right to be an American, because you're losing your country and you can do something about it. Do not allow your reluctance to participate to reduce you to nothing better than a flock of timid and industrious animals of which the government is the shepherd. Stop allowing yourselves to be neutered by a system that thrives on your unwillingness to demand your voice be heard. You're coronating corruption and decline by doing nothing at a time you have the power to bring back America to common sense and restore our values, traditions, and pride in saying, I am an American. Join the April 15th Tea Party and the 9/12 Project, elevating us above petty policies and uniting us with a national discussion of values and principles as our founding fathers originally envisioned. Your complacency will only aid and abet our national suicide. Remember, they wouldn't dare bomb Pearl Harbor, but they did. They wouldn't dare drive 2 planes into the World Trade Center, but they did. They wouldn't dare pilot a plane through the most sophisticated air defenses in the world and crash into the Pentagon, but they did. They wouldn't dare pass the largest spending bill in history in open defiance of the will of the people, but they did. If you can't be at a Tea Party, you can show your support in a very effective way. At 12 noon on April 15th, whether you are driving your trucks and automobiles on the freeway or in your driveway, honk your horn 3 times in solidarity with we the people. The power to change the course of history comes to very few people in a lifetime. On April 15th, you can take the first step. The second step is a 1 million We the People march on Washington. This is one of the first flags that America fought under. It doesn't say Congress knows better than I will do nothing. Its words revitalize the spirit and passion of an oppressed people and define their national character. It said, don't tread on me. It's time to hoist this battle flag once again. Now is the right time to be a patriot. My name is Thomas Paine. I'm ready to take back America. Are you?
Yeah. All right, an old form of protest is gaining ground nationwide. It is the Tea Party, but the burning issue is not taxation without representation. Protesters are taking up a new cause, big government spending. Griff Jenkins has more on this throwback
man.
to the early days of our republic. And
it's a good look.
What's on your head there, Griff?
That's a patriotic hat, Julie, and perhaps a lesson for those kids. You know, the Boston Tea Party, 1773, they were fed up with the government. Well, a growing grassroots trend. Literally, all across the country last month, hundreds of people turned out for tea parties. They're upset about this spending and the stimulus bill and all that. And with tax day right around the corner, who knows what we may see. So I decided to take a look. Check it out.
December 16th, 1773. American patriots disguised as Mohawk Indians snuck aboard ships in Boston Harbor and dumped 342 casks, or 45 tons of tea, into the chilly waters. That event became a symbol of the American Revolution known around the world. And the ghost of the British East India Tea Company may be stirring again today.
Here's to you, King Obama!
Modern-day tea parties are popping up all across the nation. Chad Peace of the ReTeaParty.com movement explains why.
There's a lot of disgruntled people out there looking at what the government's doing right now. You know, all these big corporations are asking for money, more and more money every day. And who do they come to at the end of the day? They come to the taxpayer.
According to my count, Tea Party efforts have been organized in at least 12 states and over 40 cities, from the West Coast across the Great Plains, through the South, and along the eastern seaboard. Some want you to send tea to the White House this April 15th. Others are calling for a march on July 4th. And one even wants you to throw tea into the Chesapeake Bay. But will the politicians listen? Congressman Mike Pence of Indiana thinks so.
Capitol Hill always listens to the American people, the voice of the American public, manifested in peaceful public demonstrations, has always and will always be a force of nature on Capitol Hill.
History isn't making.
Only time will tell whether tea parties and protests will spark another powerful movement, but the message is clear.
Telling the people in Washington that, hey, have a little bit of faith in us for once instead of these big companies, and maybe we can solve the problems that we have in our lives on our own.
Now, Julie, the headline from Chad Peace's website today reads, "Teabag the fools in D.C." They want you to take a tea bag, a stamp, and an envelope and mail it to the White House. Although, as we all know, it's probably not going to make it to the Oval Office. It'll be screened at some postal facility nearby. Perhaps the message gets through on April 15th. Julie?
All right. We got your message loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Love the hat, Griff. Keep the hat. The hat is a winner for you.
It's not so good of a look. Ah, there you go.
3, 2, 1, back.
Tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, are gathered on street corners, state capitals, or in front of their town squares all across our country today for Tax Day tea parties. The media understands that the founders dressed up as Indians and threw some tea in a Boston Harbor to protest taxes. But for the life of them, they cannot figure out why these people are in their streets all across America today. I will explain. Plus, Ted Nugent, Penn Jillette, and people actually like you coming together to say enough is enough. They take a stand, and together they will draw a line in the sand here, where it was originally drawn. Live